What's up, world? This is your boy Tommy Mav, and I came to do a quick video on the whole situation with Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. I just wanted to get my piece on it because I've been hearing a lot of crap on this topic, and I just feel as if it's both fair in certain instances, unfair in others, and I'll try to explain why I feel that way. First and foremost, I like to say that I am not a Star Wars fan. I am a casual moviegoer who, if I see a movie I like, I go to it. If I don't like it, I won't. That's just as far as I'll go. I'm not overly looking at the cinematic effects. I'm not paying attention to the lighting and the backdrop. I only care about storyline. Most casual fans only care about storyline. We don't know enough about the technical aspect of it to be given those type of critiques on the product. We just don't care. So all these Star Wars fans who are butthurt, who are saying that people are stupid because they're going to see the movie because they want to actually, go see the movie before they trash it. Unlike you guys, stop hating. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is the most annoying part, right? I'm not saying Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is gonna be a great movie. Hell, I don't know, and judging by The Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson did The Last Jedi, and he's terrible. So he literally went into the movie saying that he wants some people to think it sucks and other people think it's great. First of all, nobody makes a movie wanting people to think it sucks. That already is to go to tell you that he did a lot of stuff intentionally to piss people off, which I think in the long run is just didn't serve well for the overall likability of the movie, because he literally did things to piss people off because he wanted some people to hate it. Which I don't understand why you would ever go into any movie saying you want some people to hate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like getting into a fight, going to a club and say, I want to get in a fight tonight. Maybe I lose, maybe I don't. It's like retarded. Ideally, I want to win every fight. Ideally, everything I want everybody to like me. Ideally. Is that practical? Is there a good possibility that the majority of people will not like me? Yes. You know what I mean? I walk around being an asshole to people because I want some people to like me, because I know some people gonna like it and some people don't. Gonna like me and some people don't. This is stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna be a complete asshole to people because I realize some people gonna hate me anyway. No, I try to be nice, respectful to everybody. And if I know that I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and in the end you still end up hating me, I can't take that to heart, because I did everything I was supposed to do. I was respectful to you. I gave you respect, those prerequisites for us to have a mutual, for us to have a amicable relationship. And if you choose to go the other way with it, that's on you. So Ryan Johnson is an idiot. I'm the Lord of the tangent, so please. I go on tangents. But the point about it is, Ryan Johnson put out this stink fest called Last Jedi, and I think because Last Jedi was so bad, people forgetting that The Force Awakens wasn't that bad. To me, I love Force Awakens. It wasn't bad at all. It's a good movie. I love Force Awakens. So I think a lot of people, because Last Jedi was so bad, they act like every Star Wars movie is bad. And it's like, no, not every Star Wars movie is bad. That movie was bad. And there's a million reasons why that movie was bad. It destroyed every character. As I said before, Ryan Johnson is the sole person that you need to be mad. He destroyed it. Stop saying everybody, and Kathleen Kennedy also destroyed it, because she's terrible. She should not be. I always tell people there's one way that there's one thing that should disqualify a person from being in a position of power. That is the inability to notice their bias. Right? She has an inability to recognize her bias. Because she has an inability to recognize her bias, she continues to do it. She is so clueless and ignorant and oblivious to how biased and how She put people in charge of the stories of Star Wars. They're all women. You cannot do that. I know you thinking, well, there's a situation where they're all men. Yes, but those men are generally, and this is the whole myth that white men run the movie industry. Yes, white males do run the the movie industry, but they're capable white males. Meaning, just because they're not in their positions because they're white males. They're in their position because they are the best of white males. So, just hiring someone because they're a woman will not be able to make them a better person at that job than the white male that was put in that position because he was better than all the other white males. Now, as I said before, yes, there's a bias. Yes, there are white male, just like you're doing now when you're hiring all these females. Yes, there's a high probability that white males will hire other white males. Why? Because the relationship is easier to maintain, right? Just like, okay, if I told you that you were picking a roommate, right? And you go out and say, okay, let's go pick a roommate. And when you sat down and you start interviewing people for this job, for this roommate job. Now, once you do it, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna talk to people, but the overall premise and one thing that you're gonna be looking for is someone that you can acclimate with, someone that will assimilate fast to your lifestyle. If you are an African American male, more than likely the person that's gonna assimilate best with you is probably another African American male because your life experience are probably gonna share a lot of similarities. Therefore, your personality and the way that you look at situations are probably going to be closer to each other. So therefore, you feel more comfortable. So you're probably going to hire those people. When you're a white male, just because you have more jobs than everybody else, doesn't mean your mindset is going to be any different than anybody else. It doesn't have to be sexism. It doesn't have to be racism. It's just purely they don't care. And I understand that. I think the problem with the myth about this is that everybody wants to attribute hate to a situation. I don't think there's a lot of hate into it. I think it's just comfortable. People feel more comfortable with people who are like them, and if you are like them, they accept you. When you're not, it becomes harder to maintain a relationship because you don't have a lot of things in common. And if you're an African American filmmaker, it's going to be harder for you to go sit in front of a guy who's been putting out movies for 50 years, and all the people putting out movies look exactly the same. And they look exactly the same. He's used to dealing with those people. He's used to dealing with their patterns. He's used to dealing with their ideas. He knows, okay, yeah, I've done this before, so I know that this generally happens when I do this. I have done that before, so I know this generally happens when I do this. But when you come in with a completely different demographic, it's gonna be a little harder for them because they're gonna be like, okay, see, I don't really know how audiences are gonna take this. I don't really know how audiences are gonna react to this. So I'd rather just go with somebody that I know how the audience is gonna react, rather than take a chance and spend a lot of money and then I end up eating it because the audience didn't like that. So I think there's a huge myth when it comes to the whole, white male dominance, patriarchy, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of demonizing where it's like, oh, they oppress. It's not oppression. It's just clearly just a lack of empathy and or understanding for other people. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people look at people as groups of people when they're really just individuals. Right? I am an African American male. Every time I speak, I do not represent the mindset of every African American male in America. I just don't. Now, as an African American, how I feel about things and my connection to my community, is it gonna fall along those lines more than a Caucasian male? Probably, yes. But that does not mean every time I speak, I'm speaking from a place of I'm speaking for every African American in America. It's just not how it works. So when you see when you sitting in front of a white dude who is racist or sexist or misogynist, all you think that you want to attribute to those people, that person is that way. He does not speak for every white male in power across the United States of America. That's ludicrous. That's just not true. The majority of people, do not care about people who don't care about. They rarely care about people outside of their own family, let alone people that just say the same thing. Most African Americans care about African American issues because they affect them. We don't care about African American issues that don't affect them. Same thing with women, and majority of people care about things that affect us. If they do not affect us, they have to be egregious enough to prompt a response from us, right? When you see someone getting killed in front of you, you're going to intervene because that is egregious. But if you just see somebody cut someone off and nobody really gets hurt, and then two people start arguing, and one person pushes another, you're not going to step in that because it's not egregious enough. You don't care enough. Now, like I said, if we see something egregious enough that prompts us to respond, we will. But if it's just normal day-to-day stuff, we just don't care. We're not thinking about other people. We're trying to make our life as easy as we can make it. And I think that's the same held true for them. Like I said, and to the white male, that does not alleviate, because you do not have malice, and because you are not doing this with hatred, and there's not a concentrated effort to keep other people down. It does not mean that you should not have to listen to people who are fed up with the way things are. So I think there's a lack of understanding on both sides. I think there's the people who are quick to demonize white males, and then there are white males who take absolutely no accountability for the situation that is the current status quo. And I think both are wrong. You cannot demonize them because I don't think there is a concentrated animus towards people who are different. I think there's just a way that they do things, and there's certain variables that go into these decisions that these people feel more comfortable with because they know. And when you're dealing with money, you're dealing with business, it's a business. You're trying to find the best way to maximize your return on your investment. And a lot of times they know how they have enough data to back up certain decisions, and then but with other situations, they don't, like, these people aren't putting $10 in it. They're putting hundreds of millions of dollars invested in these situations, and a lot of these movies flop. Look at Charlie's Angels. They put $100 million in there. It brought the return was $8 million. They're not going to make their money back. So now they're going to have to make their money back somewhere else to make up for the money they lost with Charlie's Angels. Which is why I have a problem with these things like Charlie's Angels and stuff like that. Okay, first and foremost, I feel like liberals do with everything. And then when black people have taken the bullets, they come back out and then they start trying to push other people. They try to walk other people over the bodies that black people put forward to change things, right? Case in point, Black Panther, right? Before Black Panther, right? And I'm not a super fan of Black Panther. I do not super love it. I thought it was an okay movie. Was not the greatest thing I ever seen. Do I think it deserved all those Oscars? No, I don't. I really just, I thought it was an okay movie. I didn't think it was to catch me out. I didn't think it was a super great movie. I just thought it was a good movie. I mean, it was no different than when I saw Iron Man 1. Even though I like Iron Man 1 more. But it was kind of that feel, like, oh, new character, I'm learning, it's a good story, good background. That's all it was to me. It wasn't some great achievement, you know. So, but my point is, Black Panther, they put that movie out, right, to kind of check the pulse of the society. They swear hate minorities, hate women, hate. So they kind of threw that Black Panther movie out there first, right? You notice they didn't throw out. They got all these movies, but they threw out Black Panther first. Because if anybody was gonna take the loss, it was gonna be the mostly African American movie. Because if it come back with no return, then they gonna scrap ever making a movie like that ever again. Right? So they don't do. They gonna put the woman character out. They gonna put the black character out. You know what I'm saying? With the mostly black cast, we're gonna throw that out there and see how people accept it. Oh, and then once they realize, see, but they don't realize majority of people are not racist, right? Majority of people just don't care. And when it goes back to what I said before, when you add in or you put in malice, and when you don't put in malice, as I said, majority of people are not racist. I think majority of people just stereotype. So my point is there's no malice. I think they attribute a lot of anger and oppression when I think it's more so just dismissive and lack of empathy, right? Because I think the majority, it's hard. If you talk to most African Americans, they will tell you it's hard not to be. That's why I always laugh when I hear someone say, "I'm not racist." I don't. Because I think the majority of people, if you take the cultural definition of what a racist is, which is somebody who stereotypes and or thinks negatively about people based on their race, the majority of people do it. Black, white, Chinese, Spanish, we all do it. It's almost impossible not to do. To be racist in the cultural definition of what it is. You know what I'm saying? We think. It's hard for me when something happens. The first thing we do is we do what our scientific what the results of our limited interactions with people who are different than we are, right? Because we don't have an educated understanding of who these people are. We don't. We're making guess. We're just guessing. We don't know. So when we come across someone who we feel is possibly discriminating against us, rather than give them a benefit of the doubt, we just assume that they're racist, right? So we make a lot of assumptions. That's just, like I said, the majority of people are. The difference is we're smart. Just smart people are smart enough to realize they're doing it, and then they walk themselves back. Oh yeah, that's kind of racist of me to assume that. But we can't help the initial natural reaction that we have because we've been programmed so well to react certain ways to certain people. So when it happens, we get angry and we lash out, and then we think back and we don't even realize how biased and or racist we're being until we've already done the the overtly racist thing. So that's why I always look at people sideways when they say they're not racist, because I just feel like majority of people are. It's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of ignorance a lot of times. It's not coming from wanting to oppress. It's more so coming out in frustration and or fear or not knowing that. You know what I mean? I think those are all reactions. So when you see a movie like, they thought, they would throw out Black Panther, that's gonna flop. And when it flop, then black people take the brunt for that one. And then we can come behind it with Kathleen. We can kind of set the bar based on how well this movie does. But Black Panther came out of the park and knocked it out of the park. It sold over $1 billion, right? Most highest rating movie for all black cast in history, right? Tore up records, right? They got a lot of critical acclaim, whether you feel it deserved it or not. I happen to think it did not deserve it. I didn't care whether or not it won anything at all. But the point about it became a very, very big in pop culture, very well accepted in the comic book community. It was well accepted to the target demographic, which was the African American community. It was accepted. It hit all demographics it was supposed to hit with males. You know what I'm saying? White males, black males. Everybody was supposed to hit with. It hit with. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you're gonna get idiots who are people who just don't like stuff because it was mostly black guys. They're gonna come up and try to act like they're giving a true review when the truth of the matter is why they didn't like it. But there are gonna be some people who just genuinely it wasn't their cup of tea, and that's fine as well. But at the end of the day, they throw that out there for all the people to get it, and once these people got it, they ran with it. But then the next thing happened was so black people took the bullet. We took the first one, right? I mean, not we, but the cast of Black Panther took the first bullet, right? They threw them out there with the impression they didn't even have the budget that a lot of these other movies Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman, all these movies that are coming out, they didn't have that type of budget on Black Panther. Black Panther was not that highly budgeted of a movie. Let me make sure that I know what I'm talking about, because somebody told me that it was they had one of the lowest budgets for a Marvel movie. Yeah, I can't really find it. But from what I was told, the cast was like one of the least paid casts of like out of all the Marvel movies. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's true or not true. All I do know is they got theirs, and then they kind of ran with it, and they ended up making over $1 billion. Which opened the door for them to try to go out and, because like I say, a lot of times, African Americans take bullets for other, and then once we take the bullet, people trample over us to get what they want, right? They use us as cannon fodder, and then climb over us and take the reward for it, right? You look at civil rights. Who benefits the most? Who took the most bullets in the civil rights movement? African Americans. Well, who has benefited the most off those? All the other races. All the other races benefited more off civil rights than the people who died for the civil rights. You're better off in America if you're Asian, Hispanic, a woman, than African American. And we're the ones who took the brunt of the punishment to make those changes come about. And that's how I feel the movie industry was. Black Panther took the biggest risk, and all these other movies climbed off on his back and just climbed over it to now every movie that come out is female led, not African American African American more African American. Are more African American men put in top roles now? Nope. More women are. Every movie that comes out, it's a woman movie. Almost all the movies are woman movies. So to me, it leads me to believe they threw Black Panther out to take the father, and then now they trying to get all the women movies green light. I mean, you got Captain Marvel. Wonder Woman is not Marvel, so you can kind of take that with a grain of salt. But now all of a sudden, all these minorities are getting jobs. Now they going, we going minority. None of them outside Captain Marvel, none of them got as well as Black Panther, but they just going, we just gonna start, because they're the racist people, right? They try to act like the audience is the racist people, but the truth of the matter is they're the racist people. So they go out and then they start putting out, so they're so racist that they believe that, if they would buy our African American movie, they'll buy anything. So we might as well try to get as much of our movies out as we can. Now all of a sudden, all Marvel movies are led by women, females. Captain Marvel, Black Widow, the Scarlet Witch, who nobody cares about. The Eternals with Angelina Jolie and the other girl. Thor with the girl who left and now coming back. What's her name? Natalie Portman, the girl from Star Wars. All these movies, Star Wars, all these, they just jumping out the window now, right? Even if you look at Star Wars, right? They voted Star Wars with John Boyega like he was the main character, right? He was the one that they showcased the most. He was the one that had people thinking they were talking about taking all the cannon fodder before the movie came up. And even when you watch the movie, they projected it like he was carrying the movie. And he did a good job. But in the end, what did they do? Who got it? The woman. She becomes the star of the movie because they knew if they put her out as the star of the movie from the get-go, she would have had to carry it. She would have took the bullet if it failed. She would have been the one. So they made John Boyega take the brunt of it because in their mind, they're so ignorant that they believe that all these people are racist, right? And I always tell people the most racist people are Hollywood people. They're the movie. These people who claim to be liberal are some of the most racist people. They have the most. They think because they feel sorry for you that it's not condescending. You still don't think you still look at me as lower. You just feel bad for me. So therefore you don't feel as bad for your bigotry as the other person who may not even think I'm lower than him. He just doesn't like me. Right? So here's my choice. I can go with the girl who's patronizing and secretly looking down her nose at me, even though she feels bad about the way society treats me. Or I can have the guy who just doesn't like me because my race, but he doesn't mess with me. I don't mess with him. We don't care about each other. He goes by his business. I go by. I don't like him because he's a racist. He doesn't like me because I'm black. We're good. He puts his hands on me. I will beat the crap out of him. He tries to oppress me. I will beat the crap out of him. But I'll go with you, who gonna act like you my friend. Act like you care about what I'm going through. But in the same situation, every time an opportunity comes up for you to do something for me, you slide somebody who look like you over me. Like Barack Obama. Guess who comes in right back? Oh, they voted for a black person. No, idiot. They don't. They're not. The majority of people aren't racist like you. They're just not, right? So they voted for a black person, a black male, not because he was black. The majority of them voted for Barack Obama because he was well spoken. He seemed like he was smart. He seemed like he was intelligent. Was he a good president? That's for other people to decide. I don't know. I was not. I don't pay attention to that crap. I feel like we getting raped. All we doing is deciding if we going with the little D or the big D. Doesn't matter, right? I think we getting screwed either way. So as far as my political leans, I have none. I don't care about Barack Obama. I don't care about Donald Trump. I feel we getting screwed. All we doing is deciding which one's smashing us. At the end of the day, my point is Barack Obama goes in, and so they think the same little racist mindset. Oh, well, if Barack Obama was, they voted for a black dude, and they definitely will vote for a white woman. Man, no, because she's a scumbag. She's not. She's a scumbag. It's the same thing when you look at. She's terrible. So it's like when you look at something like Rey in Star Wars. They peddled John Boyega, and she had a small little part at the end. She played her part throughout the entire movie, and everybody liked Rey at the beginning because she seemed like a girl with a lot of substance to her. She was a junker girl. She kind of had. She was kind of like I'm kind of here. Yeah, it's a bad place, but this is the only place I know. I really don't want to go somewhere else. I'm good here. And she's kind of like, dude, you don't have dude, I know this place. You don't have to save me. And it was kind of feminist overtones, but you really didn't care because it was good storytelling. You kind of learn the universe through these two characters. So you kind of resonated with her because she's more of the both of them are wide-eyed, right? Finn is only known the Order. She is only known Jakku. So you got two people who really are just ducks out of water. So they're kind of the avatars for the audience. We're kind of learning the universe through them. So we resonate with those characters, right? So throughout the whole thing, they're kind of just stumbling around. You know, they're like fans. They literally are like avatars of the people watching the movie. They're empty to an extent, but it's done well. When they're running into Han Solo and they're kind of like, oh wow, this is Han. They're kind of speaking for the audience in a lot of what they're doing, and they do that well, and everything is working. You know what I'm saying? John Boyega knows he can't beat this guy, but he sees him about to hurt the girl, the one real friend he's ever had, or a possible love interest that he's ever had. and he doesn't care about it himself at that point. Now he doesn't care that he's not good enough to fight Kylo Ren. He just wants to protect her. So he jumps in and he does it, and it works because he's fighting with what little knowledge he has, and Kylo Ren kind of just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're not on my level. Pop, gun, that fits. Everything works. Yeah, but then it goes left when she just can. When all of a sudden she can call on the Force to grab a lightsaber from halfway across the thing, fly right to her hand, right? When this dude Luke was struggling to like lift rocks, but when he's getting trained by a Jedi Master, but she can call it from across the freaking thing and catch it with one hand, right? But so it kind of like I remember when I first saw, I was like, wait, so is she a Jedi? So was she like the Jedi the entire time? Because a lot of this stuff is kind of when they started making her character at the expense of everybody else. That's when you naturally are going to come in odds with the rest of the people watching it, right? Because if I like Finn, you just made him look like a scrub, right? He jumps up, it's embarrassing. He jumps up to save her, and she ends up having to save him because he's so inadequate. Kylo Ren, if you thought he was scary and mysterious, and he gets disarmed and beat by a girl with no training. So now you have almost made him, you make the entire universe look weird because he's supposedly the second in command and or the second most powerful person in the universe. And this girl who had no training just beat him in a duel saber. And people want to say, oh, well, he got shot, so he wasn't at 100%. I really don't care. If you have the ability to choke somebody and stop freaking firebombs, he was stopping lasers with his hand. But you're trying to tell me he couldn't disarm this girl with no training? He couldn't just call and snatch the lightsaber out of her hand? Like, it makes him look hella weak, right? It makes her look way too strong because she has no room to go. If he's the second best fighter in the universe, and I'm not even a Star Wars fan saying this, even though I'm just somebody who liked The Force Awakens. But when that is the situation, he's number two. Only one over him is the Dark Lord. She just beat him. He tried to use the Force, whatever, to make her think stuff. She forced that out. Like, no. Then she overpowered him there. So even when he died, you want to point out at the end, oh, he was hurt. They say he was conflicted. Okay, say what you want to say about the end, even though that doesn't really fit, because it still doesn't make any sense. Because even if I am an MMA fighter, right, and I don't want to hurt you, and you are a novice, a person who has no boxing training, no fighting training whatsoever. If me and you get into an altercation, even if I don't want to hurt you, me and you want a match, I can still constrain or hold you. I can still contain you. I can still hold you down. I can still constrain you without going full force. So a guy who's been training for years at this stuff can't disarm a girl who 2 minutes ago didn't even know she who at the very least was conflicted herself because she didn't even know she had the power to do any of this 2 minutes earlier. But now all of a sudden she can snatch it out of the air. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes no sense. And then you just so even if you want to ignore that and just jump and not even argue any arguments I made, just accept that as he was hurt, he was conflicted, so that somehow it made her more powerful than he was. Don't know how it makes sense, but we'll just say that we'll just give you that. We eat that one. He wasn't conflicted when he was trying to use his power to overtake her brain. She had no power whatsoever. Right? That's like Darth Vader in the first one being overpowered by the Luke dude. Yeah, Luke had training in other stuff. He understood piloting and all that other stuff, but he didn't understand. He wasn't able to control his power like this guy was. So Kylo Ren is the dude talking now. He's talking to this girl. He can't overpower her, but he's not conflicted at that point. He's not shot at that point. She still overpowered him then. So you have just disgraced that character. He's a nobody. Like dude, you getting beat by person. It's like somebody's supposed to be the best fighter in the gym, right? And then some new person walk in the next day, like his first day at the training facility, and he knocks him out and destroys him in a fight. What's the first thing you're gonna think about that gym? You're not gonna think, oh wow, that fighter right there is some natural talent. No, you're gonna say that gym sucks. If he's the second best, and some girl, I'm not paying my money to learn from you. If a girl just came off the street and knocked out your best fighter, your second best, the master, so your top student, he just random girl off the street came in and knocked your top student out. That's what you did to the universe. You just basically said the universe is, these guys are obviously are pale in comparison to what they used to be. If this random girl just come up, so then all of a sudden the whole value of the franchise, the main villain. So you got, but the whole time it was subtle though. But the whole time you can see they were pushing it towards, Rey being the star. Even though they did not advertise it as Rey being the star. They advertised it as John Boyega being the star. Which he really was. He was really the focus of the first movie, not Rey. Rey was more of a supporting character in the first movie. And people loved it. It broke records. People loved it. Even if some of Star Wars fans, you ain't pleasing all of them. There it is. It's a rip-off of the first Star Wars. Who cares? I enjoyed it. So you feel okay? Cut out whether or not you think it took some of the templates of world it's actually made in. I'm sorry, it's okay if it's the same franchise if it copies off of other parts of the franchise. That's not that bad. That's more of an archetype and that's more of a template than it is copying, because you can't steal from a franchise. You're making it in the franchise. So I always thought that criticism of it being too much like New Hope, then why do you care? Then don't watch it. Go watch New Hope if it's the same thing. Obviously it's not the same thing because you wouldn't feel the need to watch this one. So miss me with that. Oh, it's the same thing. It was not the same thing. I hated all the Star Wars, the first Star Wars. I thought they were the most boring. I couldn't watch them. The CGI effects, all that, and as I said before, I am not a film buff. I don't know anything about CGI effects. All I know is one thing look like high quality graphics. High quality effects. The other thing was Muppet Babies. I can't watch that crap. It looked like crap. The stunts was terrible. The fight. Did you see the sword fights in Star Wars? One of the worst. It looked like two old white dudes fencing. Like, I don't want to watch that. I never was really impressed by them. I never was a Star Wars fan. I became a Star Wars fan when the prequels came out because they were more like ninjas then. I like the prequels. Like I said, I'm a fan of action movies and sci-fi movies and stuff like that. And I love the prequels. Majority of people did not. But majority of people did like Star Wars Awakens, and it was like I said, it was a big. Finn was the star of that movie. Rey was supporting. Kylo Ren was supporting. Rian Johnson came in. You can tell. Okay, well, we kind of went in here letting John Boyega take all the bullets. About being a black stormtrooper and all that. We let him take all the bullets. So now, since they bought him, so we can just slide her. No. People are not as racist as you think. If they like a character, they like a character. It does not matter what race, gender, or sex, or whatever you want to call it. They don't get. People like characters, And if you give the character a fascinating enough story, they're going to like him. And if the person doing it has enough charisma, John Boyega had a lot of charisma. That's why he was able to fit in as Finn, because he had a lot of personality. He was funny. He had a lot of charisma to him. Daisy Ridley was a supporting character for a reason. She had no charisma. She was just a supporting character. And they thought, okay, we're just going to use this black dude to sell the movie, and if they take the bullets on it and it tanks, we can blame it on him. But it didn't tank, it did well. So like they always do, as I said, they let black people take the bullets and then they climb over our dead body. And then that thing, you know, now Ray's the star of the second book. She has to carry it. What do you know? She bombs. Because the character, Daisy Ridley is a very white bread actress. She can cry or she can show emotion, but she really is not. She's boring. So they focus so much on that, and Ryan Johnson tried to go away from Finn, right? So he's trying to focus on Poe Dameron, who also does not have the same charisma as John Boyega, also does not have the same ability to keep our audience entertained. He's boring. Right, so nobody pays attention. They try to focus on Princess Leia, who is even more boring. She was boring in the first 3 weeks. She was a supporting character. She was boring as hell in the first 3 Star Wars. Nobody came to Star Wars to see Princess Leia. They went to Star Wars to see Luke. Like I said, even back then, Han Solo carried those movies back then. Why? Because he had the charisma. He was the guy. He was the funny guy. He's the one. He was the star of the movie. Luke was a supporting character then. Most of the story, but Luke's journey was also a main catalyst behind Star Wars. Leia had no journey. She had nothing in it. She was always a supporting character. She was a supporting love interest for Han Solo, and she was Luke's like sister, who was like guiding his like conscience. But that's like it. She was a supporting character. She helped the main characters. She helped Luke on his journey to become who he was, and she helped Han Solo, and she gave Han Solo a love interest. But she was supporting. She was always a supporting character. She was never a main fixture. She was nobody because what she did was boring. I am the leader of the resistance. She's boring. I don't like it. Okay, let's go for a 20-minute of a movie. We're gonna sit here and talk about the chain of command. You know, I'm gonna sit there and listen to that for no 20 minutes. 20, 30 minutes throughout the movie, sit around and listen to her great strategic plans. It's ridiculous. Nobody wants to hear Leia. Nobody came down to watch Princess Leia give her strategic plans. So she was boring. So instead of focusing on the characters, just like they did with Han Solo and Luke. And like I said, it started out with just being mostly surrounded around Han Solo. He was the protagonist. Even though Luke was the protagonist, the actual protagonist, he was also, Han Solo he wasn't a supporting character. He had his own storylines. He had his own parts. He had his own trajectory, his own protagonist. Both of them were protagonists. He was a protagonist through the storyline. He was a protagonist through the audience interest. People cared about Han Solo because of Ford's charisma, his ability to carry the movie. That's why they couldn't even want to die off in the second movie, but they couldn't because they knew they wouldn't have been able to have a third movie without Han Solo. Because he was the charisma, he was the coolness, he was the thing that made Star Wars cool. If you take Han Solo out, it is not. Star Wars is a geek movie. It's not cool. Han Solo added the coolness to it. Him, Lando Calrissian, all that. He without Harrison Ford, there is no Star Wars. He's the one that made casual. He made girls like him, and guys. He seemed like a guy. Because that's what I tell people all the time. That's how you carry a movie. The guy in the starting role should be a person that girls think is handsome, or attractive, or has a magnetism to him. And the men should think he's a cool dude I wouldn't mind chilling with. That's the criteria, right? But Poe Dameron, like, who cares about this dude? You didn't give me no reason to care about him in the first one, and I dang sure don't care about him now. I don't care about him because he made a joke and he has no charisma. He tried to pull off the same type of jokes that Finn was doing in the first one, but he didn't have the charisma to pull it off. It just wasn't funny. And all of them, the entire movie was just bland and boring. And so, because that's what they do. They let John Boyega carry the first movie, and then they tried to flip it and just throw it all on Daisy Ridley for the second movie. And she just didn't have the charisma to carry the movie. She tried to be funny, she wasn't. She tried to have charisma. She tried to show off her acting range. She just wasn't interesting. She made the Rey character less interesting than the writing made her, which is a hard thing to do. Because even when you have bad writing, you can see charisma within an actress. You understand? You know what actress I feel like has a lot of charisma? Is that one girl, I watched it, my little daughter loves the Descendants, Descendants movie, songs. And the girl plays on Black Lightning. That girl has so much charisma. Like, you watch any movie she's in, she has the smallest part. No matter how bad the writing is, she has a way of pulling it off. John Boyega has that type of talent. It does not matter how bad the writing is. Even in the second one, he found a way for his charisma to come through. Even when he was about to crash to go the end to do what he was doing, in that little time he pulls you into his character because the emotion, the way that he played the part. I just did not get that. If Poe Dameron would have died at the end of the movie, nobody would have cared. To be honest, if Rey died, nobody would have cared. Because outside of people would have been thinking, like, what are we going to do now? Like, where do we go from here? You got to keep her because she's the one you promoted as the front. But now, your second movie, she comes out and she's just dull and boring. Like I said, you can't use, yes, Luke was dull and boring too. But at least Luke had a trajectory. You know what I'm saying? You want to see how powerful. At time, Luke was one. You had no idea what a Jedi was. You did not know how good they could be, how good they possibly could be. You just were kind of learning what a Jedi was through him. So it was kind of like the trajectory was really about his interest was really about what the Jedi was and what they stood for and what abilities they had. Rey is living in a world where people already know that. So people know the extent of how powerful you can be. And how powerful you're supposed to be at every stage. So they're going to be way more critical of her trajectory than they were of the Luke guy's trajectory, because hers is, they have roadmaps for her. And you can't just leap steps and make her the most powerful person in the universe when they realize the Force it has nothing to do with your ability. It's like fighting. As I said, I'll use that example again. There are people who can fight. They just naturally know how to fight, right? They get in street brawl, they can fight. But that doesn't mean you can throw them in a fight in the middle of a ring with an MMA fighter and think that that's not going to impact. They might win, but it's really going to be basically luck. They might get a quick shot, they might get a good shot, but if the longer the fight goes on and the more technique is integral to the fight, they're going to lose. And I think that people that the Last Jedi never thought about that. It's just like, let's throw it out there and see what people do. And let's throw the black guy out there, John Boyega, see how it trails down. And if they don't tank, then if these racist guys will go see that when they know John Boyega, then we know we can just put out 50 women movies. And that's what they did. Rogue One. What was it? Even a Solo movie was more about the girl in the movie than it was about Han Solo. And it's like it's supposed to be a Solo movie, but we spent the most intriguing character y'all spent the most development on, like Han Solo. They just gave him his last name for nothing. They didn't get no backstory on his parents. You learn nothing new about Han Solo in that movie. I've never watched it. I think I spent like 5 minutes watching this dumbest junk. They're teaching more and more about this woman who has nothing to do. Nobody knows her. Nobody cares about her. But they're going to use Han Solo to sell the movie. And then when people show up, they talking about this lady. The characters you know that you tune in to watch, Lando Calrissian and Han Solo, you get no new news about them. Except for Lando likes to bang freaking robots, and Han Solo got his name because some dude he didn't have one. So that's why I say about Kathleen Kennedy, she does not understand that she cannot not be biased. Her bias is affecting the bottom line. In her determination to get all these female characters and more female characters out, she's neglecting the storyline at the expense of always making this. No, if you watch movies, the male characters, just because he's the protagonist, is not always the most powerful person on the thing. He's generally the most fallible. He's usually the one with the most problems, the protagonist. But for some reason, in all her movies, the female is never. Even Rogue One, like I said, Han Solo story. It's like if they do something bad, they have to find a way to blame white males or the system. It's like everything. They just can't be negative characters, right? African American characters can be, Lando Calrissian, smuggler, bum, whatever. He can be a bad character, right? He can have flaws. Finn, coward, scary, lies. He can have flaws. But it seems like every woman in every one of their movies, none of them can have flaws. They all put themselves second. Selfless, caring, heroic. So basically, Rian Johnson wrote a script kissing women ass for 2.5 hours of ass kissing women, and so they threw the movie out. So Kathleen Kennedy loved it. Why did she love it? Because that's what she wants. Princess Leia Luke's a scumbag. Finn's a scumbag. Poe's a scumbag. Everybody's a scumbag. All the women are caring. They're the leaders. They're the people taking charge and taking action, and they don't need to answer to anybody. But all the males need to answer to somebody. They need someone covering their tracks. They need someone telling them what the right thing to do is. They need this. They need that. They need this. They need that. They need a woman taking care of them. They need a woman making sure they do this. But a woman needs nobody. And that was the basic premise of the plot. So she loved it, and she threw that crap out there thinking people were gonna love it when they realized, like, dude, you crapping on everything that Star Wars was built upon. Why not try to make Rey an interesting character? Not try to force her to be the Star Wars version of who you ideally think you are. Because you're not that. But in your mind, you are that. You're the real life Rey. And you have no flaws. So Rey can't have any flaws. You became the president of Lucasfilm. So therefore, you obviously are just get it. You're the Rey. But you're not. You're somebody. It just trips me out. If you're not going to be able to pick apart the flaws in the main character, it's going to be a real hard time telling the story. As a writer, I know you cannot tell a story where the main character has no growth, because that person, like I said, if they was going to do that, they should have made Finn the main character. If they were going to make him the one with all the flaws, he should have been the emphasis of the movie, not Rey. If she should have just been a supporting character. If she was a supporting character, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared about her. You would have had her off training with Luke somewhere. You and Luke can train over here. But here's the story. He's the one becoming Nick. But then they studied his growth in the second movie. He didn't progress in. They just made him a bumbling, stumbling idiot who basically just was in the way. They didn't have nothing for him to do. Still, Rian Johnson just did not like the fact that he used to focus on the first film, so he came out in the second film and just annihilated him. It's like J.J. Abrams, the round-head dude, Rian Johnson. When he put that movie, he was getting into a pissing contest with J.J. Abrams. That's all it was about. He was trying to prove to J.J. Abrams that he can make a better script than he did. So he basically went in there with no respect for what J.J. Abrams did, no respect for the arcs he built. He just went in there trying to prove that he can write a better script. And he doesn't care what people think, because he doesn't care. He's a true Star Wars fan. He doesn't care what people think. If you go in there thinking of what, trying to figure out what everybody wants, you're going to be able to write a bad script. Well, you did it anyways, so what's the difference? This is what really gets me about Hollywood. Why not just give people what they want? Nobody asked for Luke to be a drunk, drunk freaking loser at the end of his journey. Like, that just craps on everything that they their whole life they put him up as this paragon character, and you just turned him into a scumbag lowlife. For what? What did you get out of that? Nothing. It didn't help the movie at all. All it did was it made it harder. Now who's gonna train her? If Luke is the last Jedi, he won't train her. How is she gonna ever progress as a Jedi? Oh no, never matter. She'll just progress anyways, and Luke will be just thrown to the crows. You've made it harder for yourself when all you had to do was just follow the script. J.J. Abrams did not come. J.J. Abrams may be a hack. He may be all the things that people think he is, but at least he understands. I'm just, dude. I'm not George Lucas. I didn't make this. I'm just giving people what they want to see. They want to see a progression of the story. I'm going to give respect to the old characters, and I'm going to build the new characters as archetypes of the old characters. That's all I'm gonna do. If you like Star Wars, more than likely you're gonna like this one too. And this will be a new one for the people who did not get to see Star Wars 1. It's gonna be new and refreshing to them. To the old losers who want to come back and get angry about it, they can go back and watch their old Star Wars. Even though we know they're not gonna do that, they're gonna go on campaigns and try to get the whole production shut down because they didn't like that it copied the other Star Wars. So it pisses you off because these people are idiots, But if you're gonna go with Rey, it didn't make sense to do it the way they did it. You know what I'm saying? She's just not an interesting character. And even on this third film, it's like, I'm not gonna go watch that in no theaters. I went and watched The Last Jedi and went to sleep at like halfway through it. It was so boring. It made no sense. None of the storylines from part 1 carried on to part 2. It was like watching a completely different movie with completely different characters. And if you get a third director for the third movie, it's probably going to do the same type of effect. Probably be a bunch of discontinued, disconnected storylines that you trying to clean up his mess. Because Ryan, as I said at the beginning, Rian Johnson is the one that gets the blame. J.J. Abrams has nothing to do with Rian Johnson's mess. He came in there and messed everything up because he was trying to prove he's a better writer than J.J. Abrams and messed everything up. Now that man has to come behind him. That's why I think it's unfair to get mad at J.J. Abrams. All that man doing is coming behind this F up and trying to fix all the stupid things he did. The truth of the matter is, he should have just been able to do his own trilogy. He should have had this hack, this idiot who think he's smarter than everybody in the room to step up and mess everything up. Because those are the worst type of people. I hate creative people who think they're smarter than their audience. And why are you making movies for their audience if you're hovering above them and you're so much, your opinion of yourself is so high. And you can get that from Rian Johnson when he's talking to people. He thinks in his mind, he thinks he's up here, he thinks he's on this wavelength and everybody else is down here. When he's really just a hack who basically just all you did was the opposite of everything you were supposed to do, and somehow you patting yourself on the back like you're some genius. You're not no genius. All you did was do the opposite of everything people wanted you to do. That's not creative. That's just a troll. You didn't do anything special. And you're not courageous for doing it because they paid you money. And at the end of the day, you just back out and somebody else has to clean up your mess. There was no logic behind any of this decision. It was one of the worst written scripts I've ever seen. The storyline was all over the place. Made no sense. He's introducing characters that have no purpose for being in the movie outside of catering to Kathleen Kennedy's obsession with females in movies. I mean, female heroines in movies. The Rose Girl why is she in the movie? No purpose. Why is the purple haired lady there? Why is Princess Leia getting so much time, yet they're concentrating on rubbing out the old and bringing in the new, but Princess Leia's in 90% of the movie? No, you're not focused on. Kathleen Kennedy was not focused on taking out the rest. She was focused on making Leia the most heroic person in all of Star Wars. That was her end game. That's what she was shooting for. That's why she made him bury Luke. She made him bury Han Solo as a deadbeat dad who did nothing but who would come back around every now and again. She buried all the people that were over Leia to try to put Leia on this pedestal because it was her favorite character. And in the end, all she did was destroy Star Wars. And I'm not even a fan of Star Wars. That was the funny part. So I'm not even angry. But I can imagine being a person who loves Star Wars as much as these people love it. And you gotta come down and watch all your characters getting destroyed left and right for no reason other than this lady's obsession. If you love Princess Leia, then what is the need to make her better than what she was? If you were a Leia fan, then be a Leia fan. Let her be what she was. Stop trying to build her into this paragon of righteousness so that you can pat yourself on the back and be a fangirl. Oh, we got Barry and Luke. Luke gets 5 minutes of screen time. That other guy, Han Solo, gets 5 minutes of screen time. But Princess Leia is getting 30 minutes in every movie. Because you like to go, you know good and well they had nothing. That was just all her. That was all her. And it's the most annoying junk in the world when you destroy a franchise based on your bias. And if you cannot step away from it, step up and take and make a decision that's non-biased, then you should not be in the position that you're in, because that is dangerous. Like I said before, Black Panther broke the records, and now all of these female movies are coming out. You know, Barack Obama came in as the black first president. Now all these female Democrats are the front runners to become president. You see the pattern here? That's what they do. That's what liberals do. They let black people take they always make black people take the hit. They use us as cannon fodder, and then they walk over us to get the rewards. And they do it left and right, and they're doing it now with movies. Black Panther came in, scored the billion, and all of a sudden, all you see is a lineup of nothing but women movies. They all tanking. They don't care, because at the end of the day, now they got the green light. Well, these racist people will go see a black movie. They definitely will go see a woman movie. But the people aren't going to see these movies because they're racist and or not racist. They're going because they like their characters. They're intrigued. They are intrigued, and they want to know more about the characters. That's why they're showing up. They're not showing up because they hate, because they love or hate African Americans or black characters or women characters. They come in to see what they like. You're the racist people, not them. They're just trying to be entertained. You're the racist ones, and like I said before, that's what they do. That's what they do all the time. They use black people as fodder, and all the and other minorities, and then women and gays are the ones jumping over everybody. They the ones, because they're the white ones, right? So black people generally take the brunt of the cannon fodder. We're the ones getting the church burnt down, hung from trees, you know what I'm saying, discriminated against, beat down by the police for civil rights and all this and that. We do all this stuff, and then you look at the hierarchy in the world. Way more women benefited from our struggle than black African Americans did. women and gays are the ones that benefit the most. They weaponize us to push for their agendas. So anytime you say something about a homosexual and saying that you do not feel like their lifestyle is right, they bring up black people and weaponize us so that they can push their agenda. Oh, that's like saying a black person shouldn't be able to, interracial people shouldn't be able to get married. What? How is that the same thing? They're different they're different genders. How is it the same? Oh, it's the same thing. They bring up us because they understand black people have been screwed over, and we've taken the large part of the cannon, the fire for other people to get civil rights. And so they use us when it's convenient, and then when they get what they want, they act like we don't exist. So, but it blows my mind. It really does. It blows my mind that we can be in a time where this happens. Black Panther sold that movie. Do you think that they're going to make more action movie, sci-fi action movies surrounding around an African American character? Nope. I don't think I've seen one. I think they got another Black Panther movie scheduled for like 2022. But you got about 10 female-led movies. About 10 of them that are coming out soon. Get ready. Black Panther, the one that broke the records, but all of a sudden you got every female character they can grab, franchise they can get their hands on, they throwing that out there. And the truth of the matter is they kind of stuck, right? Because there's not really a lot of African American characters to go by. You got Blade, Black Lightning. I mean, the Green Lantern dude, maybe. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have. That's why they gotta start. They need African American characters, but they ain't really got another African American character like Black Panther. But then again, these characters they're putting out for these women aren't much better. They're G characters. It's like they're trying to push this inclusivity and this inclusion and diversity, but they really don't. Marvel really isn't that diverse. Most of the high-profile characters are white males, so it's gonna be real hard for you to try to put it out there. I think they got one. They're trying to put out that Yan-Chi character from Iron Fist that was on Netflix and it flopped because nobody really cared about it. So you might try to cater to Asian fans, but Asian fans don't see themselves as all Asian. There's Koreans, there's Japanese, there's Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Polynesians. People from the Philippines. It's Asians all different types, and they don't see themselves as just Asian. So you can't just throw out Wan-Chi, who's from Japan, because Chinese people do not see themselves as Japanese. So it's harder to cater to that fan base than it would be anywhere else. Same thing with Hispanics. Puerto Ricans and Hispanics, they do kind of see themselves as Hispanics in America to an extent, but there's still there's a lot of racism within their communities as well. You know what I'm saying? African Americans, we're probably the most solid fan base that really looks at all of ourselves as being black, and anybody who has a drop of black as being black. So we're more. There's more camaraderie or more of a bond in the African American community, so you can put out a movie like Black Panther. But it's gonna be real hard to do that with others, and not to mention there's really no Hispanic superheroes. You got that Beetle guy, and maybe that wild dog guy, but really other than that, you really don't have any Hispanic heroes. They got the guy off the Flash, but really, it's not. You forced diversity when Marvel is not really known for diversity. All their top people have always been white males, and the sad part is, if you try to change it to a black male, these fanboys get butthurt. So you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. You can change them to a black person because black people have enough of of a spending power that you can make it work. It's kind of like this Ariel movie that's coming out. I think it'll do well because black people support their movies. So black people are gonna go see it. They're gonna take their children to see it, and it'll make up for. And it's a high-profile movie, so a lot of white people who are into diversity and inclusion and all of that stuff, they're going to go take their children. You got a lot of liberals, you got a lot of African Americans, and so I think you can do that when it comes to African Americans. But you can't really do that when it comes to Hispanics because, like I said, there are a lot of Hispanics who see themselves as white, who assimilate and identify as being white, and there's a lot of Hispanics who assimilate and identify themselves as being black or minority or Hispanic. So there's divide within their race, their ethnicity, unlike with African Americans. So it's harder to do that with them because they're not really going to support something because, as you've seen with this whole Trump situation, like Hispanics are like sliced down the middle. You got half of them that hate immigrants because they're Cuban and they grew up basically being taken care of by government, so they love America because they come from communist Cuba and Castro and all this and that. So they're basically see themselves as white Americans. They basically think like white Americans. They don't like immigrants. They don't like people. And then you got the more urban Hispanic crowd that kind of fall more with African Americans in their thought process and their beliefs and their thoughts on things. So it's kind of hard to get that. And Chinese people are such a small population. Asians are such a small population. Even if you want to throw in Middle Easterns as being Asian, you know what I'm saying? The population is really too small to try to cater to it. So, you really kind of just stuck with African Americans, and they don't really want to go that route. So they figure that's just because it's such a media backlash every time they change one of these characters to African American. It's like they talked about, changing Superman to black, and these guys, these people jumping out the window. They try to tell them they not racist. You can't tell them they not racist. Dude, that is his character does not change. The only thing changes about him, his backstory will be the same, his name will be the same, all his traits and everything will be the same. The only difference is he'll have black skin. The only thing you do not like about it is the fact that he has black skin. That in itself is prejudice. Like, how can you not understand that? Like, it's crazy to me how people don't get it. Dude, that's the epitome of racism. The thing you don't like about the character is his skin color. Because they have not introduced anything into it that would change who he is. And just because he's black, that does not mean the writer has to write him as an African American. That's just the actor that is fulfilling the role. So, you get what I'm saying? It blows me away with that. So you can't change any characters, and Marvel's not really that diverse. They're more diverse than others, but they're still not that diverse. And African Americans, we never really been strong with comic books. I know I don't read comic books, never really have been a fan of comic books, and I really don't know anybody who has. But African Americans, that's not our thing. We don't really mess with the whole sci-fi fantasy genre. That's not really our bag. We're more, when people I grew up around, they watch more sports, gangster movies, because we identify, like when you're white and you're living in a boring suburb, you need to escape reality so that you don't just because of the sheer boredom. So you go into you find entering different worlds and falling into the canon of different worlds. African Americans, we're engrossed in our own world because from the time we're born, that's what our focus is, our world. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for us to detach and to be thinking about Star Wars or Lord of the Rings type of stuff because we too focused on our real life. We got too many problems going on at that moment, at that time, that we can't just go on a bender and just dive head first into Star Wars and all these other things that take months and years to learn all this crap and all the intricacies of it. We just ain't got time like that. But we do love anime. I'm gonna say that about African Americans. We are into anime. We love anime, old Chinese movies. That's generally our thing. But that's probably as far out to science fiction / fantasy we gonna go. Anyway, I talked forever and kind of rambled on, but I hope by the end of this, my whole point is still received. Hollywood, stop using African Americans to sell your products and then tossing us aside when you get what you want. Stop doing it. You do that to us in every avenue, and we sick and tired of it. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop pitting black people, black males and white males against each other. And then you come sneak over and take everything while we fight. I'm so sick and tired of that crap. Like, stop using us as cannon fodder so y'all can climb over our back and get the tape. And the same thing, stop using white males and then while secretly talking about them behind their back and climbing over and taking all and taking all the advancement that the white male has achieved and is doing. You climbing on his back and then taking the thing, and then when people point at you, say, no, that's him. Say, well, you the one with the bag. How is it him? It's like that's what they use both sides. It's like they'll go on the black side and be like, he's the one oppressing you. You should fight him. Now these two fighting him, climb over you, grab the bag, and then pull it out. White dude's like, dude, are you one of them or are you one of us? Oh, I'm one of them. I mean, it depends on who's winning the fight. If y'all win the fight, then I'm one of y'all, and I'm white. But if y'all losing the fight, then I'm a female. So I'm on this side. You can't play both sides. Either you're white or you're female. Which one are you? Well, I'm a white female, so I'm kind of on both sides. So I'm gonna take the advantages of being white, and I'm gonna take the advantages of being a minority. Even though I'm not a minority, because the women population is huge. But because I'm technically within a protected class, I'm gonna take that, while still enjoying the fruits of being a white. I'm still gonna be married to a white dude and be like Elizabeth Banks, who's married to a director, because of her connection to directing the flop of a movie because she screwed a dude with power. You can't use both sides. You can't be undercutting the white male while using every advantage that he's afforded you. And the same token, turn around, stepping in front of the minorities after they're the ones on the front lines fighting for these rights because they really need them. And you, on the other hand, can't come in through this avenue, so you're gonna try to switch it around and come through the civil rights thing while you're just causing chaos amongst two people who aren't really trying to fight with each other. And they can't hear each other because you're the one yelling loud stuff that neither side is saying. And that just drives me crazy. It really does, because it's just a whole lot of fodder that doesn't have to be there. And I'm so sick and tired of doing it. They climb over males, both black and white, and they take like white males take the blame for when things go wrong, while they still getting all the fruits of the labor. And black males are taking all of the darts, you know what I'm saying, for them to get civil rights. So they keep going. It's like they tour, and is it okay for me to be independent yet? No, it's still a little too hot over that side. I'm gonna come back over here and hide, until I can step out and be on my own, and then I'm just gonna slit his throat, and then I'll be at the top. That's how it seems to me. It seems like that's what they do. Like, play both sides. You can't play both sides, because even though you say you with this side, you keep getting all the fruits of being on that side. And he's saying, even though you keep getting all my money, you keep running over there to them every time we get in a fight, trying to act like I'm the bad guy. when I'm doing what I need to do to make sure you have money, you using my work efforts to get you money, and you're telling them that I'm the bad guy. I'm the reason why I'm the bad guy. Look, it's not me. It's him. You should be mad at him. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And like I said before, I'm sick and tired of it. But anyways, I want to talk about that. Talk way longer than I really wanted to. But that's my problem. And what I think Hollywood and The Last Jedi says. Hollywood and Rise of Skywalker and Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy, all these people, I think that is the overall point of reason I get for why these people are just use black people as fodder. Anyways, please comment, subscribe. Peace.